In 2006, I walked into my office in the morning, and the first thing I went to do was make a cup of coffee, because nothing happens without coffee, right? But then disaster. I broke my coffee mug. I thought, panic struck me. What am I going to do? I know, I'll walk next door to the $2 shop and buy a new mug. So there I am with the new coffee mug in hand, and I turned around and I found myself in the art supplies aisle. Bright colours, brushes, canvases, my heart rate started to go up and my palms got all sweaty, a little bit like now. And this voice in my head said, Rod, buy everything. Now, I'd never painted anything in my life. I had no ounce of creativity, but I bought everything I could get my hands on. I went home that weekend and I did my very first painting. But then I did something that most people do when they try something new. I decided I had no talent, no ability, and no skill. So I quit. Makes sense, right? 2 years later, I was in London on business, and I had an appointment cancelled. I just happened to be standing outside the Tate Gallery on the Thames River. And I'd never been in an art gallery before. I had a few hours spare. I thought, I'll go inside and I'll have a look. For the next 2 hours, I stood mesmerised by the J.W. Turner oil paintings. And this intuitive voice inside said, Rod, this is what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. Now, I fought that thought because I didn't see myself as an artist at all, but the next 2 years became the most frustrating 2 years of my life as I tried to learn how to paint. I quickly realised that most good artists, they don't make good art teachers. And I determined to find a way that I could learn how to paint. Then I found this guy, Bob Ross. Now, Bob Ross taught millions of people in America how to paint on TV in the 80s, and he changed people's lives. He didn't invent the methodology that he used, though. He got it from a guy called Bill Alexander, a cranky old German guy. And I tracked Bill Alexander's organisation down, and I became a certified teacher of the Alexander Method, the only one here in Australia. Then I got all my family and friends together. I said, let's do an art class. Woohoo! They were excited. All the swearing coming from the back of the room was my wife. But I taught my very first art class, and I thought, this is good, I want to keep doing more of this, but how do you market yourself as an unknown artist? Then I'm watching TV one night, a couple of weeks later, and this guy comes on TV, he says, hey, we're looking for more people to make TV shows. So I said, hey Sue, how'd you like to make a TV show, honey? Sounds good, Dale, she said. 2 weeks later, I had no idea how to make a TV show. 2 weeks later, I'm in a shop and this funny little Irish guy, I overhear him saying, I've just landed in the country and I've got a TV quality camera. I'm like, hey mate, come here. Over he comes, right? Within weeks, we were filming a 13-part TV show called Plein Air Painting TV. It was a painting and travel show, the three of us. And it was broadcast mainstream TV up against MasterChef, The Voice, other rubbish like that. As a result, everybody wanted to do an art class with the TV guy. So they all started coming to me, and I had the good fortune to be able to teach hundreds of people how to paint. But what that enabled me to do was simplify the process down. And I created what I call the Moore method of painting. I simplified it right down, 3 steps, 3 colours, and 3 brushes. As a result of that, I found that I could teach people who had never painted before how to start painting straight away. Most of the people you see on this screen never picked up a brush before. So the method really worked. I started teaching hundreds of people how to paint, mostly in Melbourne and then up here when we moved. Then I did something else. I set up a camera in my garage and I started filming myself. Now, it's not what you think. I was filming myself doing paintings and creating videos and demonstrations, and that led to online courses, and eventually I started an online learning academy. And within 5 years, we taught 20,000 people around the world how to paint. And the amount of emails I get from people saying, I never thought I could. I just had this intuitive urge, if you like, to keep creating trainings for people who never thought they could paint. Then people came to me and said, hey Rod, how can I become an art teacher? So I started to certify others around the world in the Moore method of painting. And we now have people teaching people how to paint in the UK, Ireland, Canada, New Zealand. So the moral of the story is, I believe that every single one of you have the seeds of greatness within you, but sometimes you just have to listen to that intuitive voice. And be careful next time you go to make a cup of coffee. You just never know how it will change your life forever.